Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to show you a few easy ways to make some miniatures for dioramas, doll houses. All of these are so simple and easy. So I had this old book. It was my son's school book, and I thought this would be perfect to make a bunch of different kinds of notepads, books, newspapers, just a whole bunch. I use every inch of this book. So first I start off by cutting kind of roundabout size of the book I want using the I can't think of it. The edge of the book. Oh, I went blank already. That was quick, huh? Anyway, the binder of the book. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to make slices, being careful not to cut myself, and just go nice and easy, slicing down. And I'm going to keep going all the way down this binder until I have a whole bunch of different size books. If you want notepads, which I'm doing right here, you can take the book, you can open it up and just cut a piece of it off, leaving that binder glue still attached. That way it all stays attached, but you have little bitty notepads, which are so stinking cute, and you can make them any size you want. Now for the notepads, I'm just going to take a black marker. I'm going to go over that glue, and we are going to come back to these notepads later. But you don't have to just use that binder piece to make books. You can make big books. You can make small, you can make skinny, and as I'm showing you right here, you can also make little notebooks as well. You could leave them with just the black, but I am going to add a little leather. You see me trimming just a little bit of the excess binder glue off. Now I'm going to continue on, but I'm not going to bore you with all this cutting. So I'm going to just show you a couple and then go to the end of the binder part of this. Now, like I said at the beginning, I am going to utilize all of the pages of this book. So that's how many books I got just from the binder. And as I said, you can come back in and cut them down and get a lot of bang for your buck here, because now one book becomes two. It's just a personal preference, and depending on what project you're doing, how thick you want these books, or how tall, skinny, like I said before. So now I'm going to come in and trim them down, but I'm going to hold on to all my little pieces of paper because I'm going to utilize those too. Some of these books were just a little too fat. By trimming them down, I got them the size I want, plus I have all these great little pieces of paper to work with. Now, the pages. I'm going to also come in, I'm going to trim in sections, being really careful not to cut myself. And I'm going to cut sections off of the pages. And I'm going to come back and use those pages to make newspaper. Now there's a project that is going to be next Tuesday's video. And I've always wanted to do like a catch-all junk room, okay? Borderline, almost all like a hoarder room, but not to that extent, which you'll see next Tuesday. I'm so excited about this room. I just wanted a room that I could just put a bunch of minis in, and I wanted it to look old. I wanted it to look like this room in this house has been there for years and years and years and just has been neglected. So that's going to be next week's video, where I'm going to use all of these that I've made in this and put them in my little, I guess you would say, very, very cluttered old room. So don't forget to come back next Tuesday. So like I said, I'm taking the pages, I'm making newspapers. I am folding some of them really thick for bundles, because this is all going in that catch-all clutter room that I told you about. So you can make these much smaller, not as big. I needed a lot of paper for this room. So You could make these much tinier. To make the bundles stick together, I'm just using hot glue and gluing like 2 or 3 together to make bigger bundles. I also am rolling some of these to make scrolls. And I think I rolled up like 2 or 3 of these and tied some ribbon around it for rolled up scrolls, which I'm going to be adding to that room as well. This book went so far in giving me so many like books and notepads and newspapers, scrolls, random pieces of paper, just from one little bitty textbook. So I was so pleasantly surprised. And I probably could have gotten even more out of it if I wasn't doing those larger bundles. So that is everything that I made out of those pages. And I had this leather repair kit and we didn't use it all, so of course it went in my craft room. Where else would it go? So I just cut pieces of leather down, and it's 3M, so you can just peel off the back and it sticks right to your project. So some of these books I wanted to be leather books or leather journals. So I'm going to do a few leather, and then I'm going to come in with scrapbook paper. I'm going to do a few in scrapbook paper. You can make the covers of these books anything you want. You can use scrapbook paper. You can cut out magazines. You can minimize like real book covers down to size, cut those out and put them around your books. Really, sky's the limit. In my miniature library I did, some of the books, all I did was I colored them with a marker and made them different colors. It all depends on where you're putting the books in your scene. If just the binder's showing, if the whole book is showing, are you going to have some stacked sideways? Are some of them laying down? Are some of them going to be flipped the other way where the pages are showing? Really, it's just all about the project you're doing. I wanted a bunch of just random different kinds of books for this project. That's why I chose the leather, and now I'm using the scrapbook. And I'm just folding it over, cutting it down to size, and using school glue to attach it. For the books that I know just the binder will be showing, I just came in with a marker and I colored that glue and the side of the book. I know those books don't have to be covered totally because all you're going to see is the edge. And then with the little pieces of leather that I had cut off, I did put those on top of my little notepads. Now I'm coming in with a stencil that I got off of Timu, but if you watch the football game, I guess it's pronounced Timu. I think we all been saying it wrong. But this cute little stencils I got off of Timu, and they came in a little wooden box. So adorable. I think they were like less than $4. So I'm just randomly on some of these books just putting stencils. And there's that cute little box. And here's what I have. Oh my gosh, so many books. So my Dollar Tree sold these little cardboard board games. And I grabbed them all because I had thought about doing a game room themed and I might still because I have a lot of these games left. But I wanted random, real sporadically random items in my catch all room. I want to call it a hoarder room. I really do. But I would never, ever disrespect anybody or anyone who has that condition. Um, but it's just like I'm going to call it like a catch-all room because it has like everything in it. So I wanted some games as well, and I just cut down these Monopoly pieces that I wanted. Some of them they came with cards, so some little pieces I glued to the cards to make them thicker and more durable. And I just wanted little random game pieces for this room. I just wanted to show you all of them that they offer at Dollar Tree. It's like every game imaginable. And if you're doing a game room, this would be perfect for a miniature game room. Now, I always keep the lids for my hairspray bottles because they make great little baskets. And this one I am going to turn into a garbage basket. So I'm just going to take some twine and hot glue. I'm going to start it off at the bottom and I'm going to wrap that twine going all the way up. Once I get to the top, I'm going to add a little bit more hot glue to keep it in place. Once I'm done, I add a little bit of hot glue to the bottom and I take my little tool, silicone tool, and smash it to the bottom. That way it all kind of holds together and it's a flat surface so it stands up. Now I just cut a piece off of a garbage bag and I'm going to fit that garbage bag inside of this, cutting it down to size. And then I'm going to take all those little random papers that I had cut off the books and I'm going to fill the garbage can full of paper. It makes such a cute little garbage can, and because the top of the hairspray bottle is larger opening, you could pretty much put any type of garbage you would want in there. I have a lot of paper going in this room, so I thought it would be best to fill my little garbage can full of paper. You can even take pages and you can have them hanging out the sides, like some of the papers are falling off. Now, using a spoon from Dollar Tree in the wedding section, you get a whole bunch of these for $1.25. I'm just going to use the spoon part, not the handle. And that's what it looks like all together. I forgot to show you before I cut it. So I'm just going to cut this down. At first I was trying to put little notches in it, but it wasn't working. And the spoon was just a little too big, so I do end up trimming around it and making it a little smaller. And I am going to be making a little miniature ashtray. Which was so much fun. So once I had this cut down to size, I took a black marker and just went over all of it. Since it's shiny silver, it needed to be darkened up a little bit. And as you can see, it cut down really easy. So using the marker, I went around all the little edges and I went around the top. I didn't really focus on the bottom because I knew I was going to be gluing this down. Once I had it all darkened up where you couldn't see that much of the silver, then I started working on my little cigarettes. So I took Q-tips and I cut the Q-tip tops off of each end, and I'm going to be using the plastic cylinder in between the Q-tips. Those are going to be my little cigarettes. I am utilizing the Q-tip fluffy part as well, and that's going to mimic smoke. Using an oak marker, I put the brown on the cigarette, and unfortunately I did it upside down. The brown was supposed to be like the filter and then the white, but I don't know what I was thinking. I did the brown long and the white little, and then I added a little bit of black to the top to make it look like it was a burnt down cigarette. So of course, if you're doing this, make your white bigger than your filter and put the black on the white, not on the brown. I really didn't realize this until I was done, and I just wasn't going to do it over. So I used some black sand from Dollar Tree and some glue. I filled my little spoonful of glue and I put some sand in there to mimic ashes. Then I took my little Q-tip cigarettes and I also put them in the glue. Now, to make it look like one of the cigarettes hadn't completely burnt out, I took a little piece of the cotton from the top of the Q-tip and I glued that cotton down as well, just to make it look like it's still smoking just a little bit. Oh, that was so much fun. So now my room is just going to be a mess that I'm making next Tuesday. So I wanted it to look like there were some ashes on the floor. So I just put some hot glue on a metal lid. That way I could get it off easily. And I put some of that sand in the hot glue. That's going to be going on the floor to make it look like some ashes were dropped. I am also making some eggs and bacon, and I'm going to put a dollop of hot glue on the metal, and I am also going to be making an Ottoman, so I'm kind of going to be flip-flopping right now. So using a hairspray topper again, I put some hot glue on the metal, kind of eyeballed how big I thought it needed to be, and that's going to be the top of my Ottoman. I put hot glue on the metal, and I'm also going to make that into eggs. So here's my egg. I just took some brown marker. I kind of wanted to make it a little dingy, like it's been sitting out for a while. Then I do come in and I put 2 little dollops on top. That's going to be the yolk of the egg, and let that fully dry. I love using a metal lid when using hot glue because you can just use your little spatula and it comes right off. So there's the lid to my Ottoman. Using some more of the tops of the Q-tips, that's just going to mimic a little cushion on top of the Ottoman. So I hot glue the tops of the Q-tips onto that, and then I cut down a piece of fabric to put around all of it. So I'm going to have that as my cushion, just utilizing the rest of those Q-tips. Now for the base of the Ottoman, I'm just going to take some blue paint. I'm going to squeeze a little bit right inside that lid, and I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to go around to make sure the whole inside of it is colored in. Then I'm just going to pour out the excess glue remaining and set that aside to dry. So now I'm going to take the top and I'm going to glue down those tops of the Q-tips for my cushion. And then I'm going to put some glue on the hairspray lid and glue that topper right onto that lid. Again, remember that topper was just made out of hot glue. So I'm going to glue that down And I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to go around the top of my ottoman with the fabric. First, I glue it down. Then I come in and add hot glue little dollops going all the way around, and using my finger kind of make folds with the fabric, going all the way around, making all these little folds, as you can see, and it makes a perfect little ottoman. Now I'm going to work on my egg. I had the brown marker first. Now I'm going to take some orange paint and I'm going to go over each of those circles. They're going to be the yolk. Then I'm going to come in with some yellow paint and go over the yolk again. And then I'm going to come in with white and fill in the rest of it with white paint. Right before it's dry, I'm going to take some of that black sand that I used in the ashtray and just sprinkle a little bit of the sand on my egg to mimic pepper. So what goes good with eggs? Bacon. So I just took my hot glue gun and I laid it flat on my lid and kind of moved it back and forth to make squigglies, which made the perfect little pieces of bacon. I took my maple marker, because this is maple bacon, haha, and colored the hot glue. Then I took a black marker and kind of went into the creases a little bit and around the edges to give it the little burnt look. And there's my eggs and bacon. I wanted to make a hutch, so I took this table from the Dollar Tree dollhouse section and I pulled the legs off. And I had these legs I got off of Amazon, and I'm going to put those on instead. So I just cut them down to size and I used wood glue, and I just put, they really weren't legs, or spindles actually, but I cut the little toppers off of them and I hot glued them in the place of the legs. Now, I didn't care if it was crooked. I didn't care if it was wonky looking. Like I said, all of this furniture is going in that room, and that room has been sitting, collecting just random items for 100,000 years. Not that long, but for a long time. So I wanted the furniture to look like it was old and used and worn out. So, of course, if you're doing this for a different reason, you're going to take a little bit more time to make sure everything is level and straight. But just taking the legs that came with the furniture and adding different ones really does make a huge difference. I found on Temu black Scrabble pieces. Y'all know I love using Scrabble pieces to create things. And oh my gosh, when I saw black, I got really, really excited because I've never seen black Scrabble pieces before. So what I'm doing is making the shelf for my hutch. And I'm just gluing Scrabble pieces flat, and then I'm coming in and I'm gluing Scrabble pieces standing up to make a shelf. And then I'm going to attach that to the legs that I broke off of the table, the legs that originally came with it. And I'm going to attach that to each side, and then I'm going to attach it to the table to make a hutch. I use the furniture touch-up markers. These I actually got off of Amazon, but Dollar Tree does sell them. And I just, like I said, I wanted this to look old and used, like it's been changed a million times. And so I took all of my colors and went over this piece of furniture. I started with oak, I came in with maple, I came in with walnut, I came in with a black marker, and then I always finish it off with the oak marker again because that seems to blend in all of the different colors that I put. It just works so good. You put random, all the colors you want on your piece, come in again with the oak and go over it, and it smooths it all together. This is so much easier than painting, and it's not messy, and you don't have to wait for it to dry. So there's so many benefits if you're just trying to make a piece look old and dated and used to using markers over paint. The oak really just blends everything and it also fills in anywhere you missed. And then I just think it makes the piece really look old and dated and vintage and used, which was exactly the look I was going for. Of course, you could paint this any color you want. And you could also, I didn't paint the Scrabble pieces because I wanted the black shelves on it. But of course, you could do this idea and paint the whole piece one color. That would work out perfect. Since the bottom is wood, you can even distress it a little bit. Look how cute that turned out. Oh my gosh. So now I wanted two kind of end tables. And my husband came up with this idea of cutting one of these dressers from Dollar Tree in half. And it's so neat because you get two totally different end tables. And the top is actually the bottom. So the one with the scallops is actually the bottom of the dresser. But when you flip it over, it gives you kind of like a cubby space at the top of the dresser, which is perfect for all of those books I just made. Now I'm using the same technique with the markers to match the other furniture, and I'm going to go in with the maple, walnut, the oak, the black, and of course finish it off with the oak to blend it all in so they match. They turned out so cute and they look like two separate pieces of furniture. You would never know they came from one dresser. I love flipping it over and using that scallop as the top instead of the bottom. And next week you will see how cool that turns out. So what a bang for your buck there. $1.25 for one piece that you can make into two. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to show you how it all comes together next week. I hope everybody has a blessed and wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.